everyone, and welcome to another edition of Kaiso Talk. Yes, it's Wednesday, and of course, at this time we talk Kaiso. And more so, well, we are well into the carnival season. In fact, I think starting tomorrow, we'll start the preliminaries of the soca competition begins, and then of course that will go on, and then we get to the groovy, and then the Kaiso, and all of that. And so as the days go by, things are gonna just start picking up and heating up more and more and more. In fact, we've gotten quite a few Kaisos already. More soca than Kaiso, but the Kaisos are coming, and I'm quite impressed because last year so we didn't get all that Kaiso yet. So I'm happy that the Kaisos are coming in, and they sounding real good. Real good. So we playing them as we get them, so that of course you can start to listen, and it's a cultural thing that when people start listening Kaiso, they starting to judge from the time they hear the Kaiso for the first time, and they starting to decide, well, that man go make the finals, he go make the finals. Why find he so strong? And that's the thing that's good. It's all part of the culture, and it's all good. It's all good. So folks, this evening we welcome all our viewers on GBN TV 7 and 11, our friends on our Facebook page and YouTube channel, and of course our listeners on K105 FM. Val is here with me, teacher Eddie is back, and Squeeze is there. He seemed to be having a little tech issues, but he should be joining us any moment. Now we've seen him, but I think he's just having some little, the internet can be sometime, but hopefully he should be with us any moment now. So we're talking Kaiso. Val, good evening. How are you doing, man?
Good evening, Godfrey. Good evening, Eddie. Nice to see you again. And good evening to Kaiso, P.T. Martinique. Good evening, Grenada. Good evening to all the places that this radio program is heard, up the windwards. And great to be here once again to enjoy another Kaiso Talk. Yeah.
Yes, definitely. Eddie, I find you looking innocent. What happened to you? Some trick you have up your sleeve, Don't go and play. Don't go and play innocent tonight. I find you have some trick up your sleeve. What's going on?
Good. The season start had a wonderful opening.
Yeah.
And looking forward to the next show. Also had a performance in Carnival City, the closing of Carnival City. That was nice. The songs are well received. The two selections that I'm doing, they were well received. I had to hold back one though. I had a third song, but I had to hold it back.
Right.
Sometimes when you think you have a bad song and you hear people go to another song that they like, you just have to follow the people.
Oh, definitely.
And a man once said, "What the people know what this guy so?"
Oh yeah. Definitely the people know this guy. So so that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Yeah, man. So Eddie, of course, your tent was open, Kaiso Bads. What was your thought on some of the contributions from some of your fellow artists? How was it?
Well, I think if you go to any tent and you midnight, you realize that you have a little bit of shaky here and there.
Mm-hmm.
We had a good show. The turnout was kind of regular. I thought we were gonna get a bit more people.
Mm-hmm.
But as is customary, once Baz is home in Deluxe, whether it's 10 persons, 100 persons, 300 persons, they with you.
Oh yes. Once you have what you have Lindona and Diane, you can't go wrong.
Yeah. So it was a nice show. Guys, I think most guys did one song. I was fortunate to do my two songs. But most people did one song. I think we're gonna get another show soon to showcase you both songs, so you get to do your both songs.
Right.
So I think whenever the next show is announced, everybody gonna be doing the two songs.
Lovely.
Right, and then after that, realize that July go run fast, so we go be in the middle of July, getting ready to face the judges.
That's right.
Getting ready for semi-finals, and then Spice Mass is here, and the season come to an end. But all in all, like that, we had a
the season won't fully come to an end yet because we have Legends in concert November 8th. So we go down the road.
Yeah. So you look forward to the rest of the season, what it brings. I mean, it has been a while since I've not been in the finals. I think the last time was 2017.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But Eddie, that's not long because I mean after 2017, basically 18, 19, we had COVID for about two years. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So but I really want to get back there, and I mean, people love these songs, so
yes.
It's me to go and deliver and get myself inside it.
Well, of course.
I looking towards a good season this year.
Val.
Well, I mean, it's good to see Eddie again. And good to hear that the Kaiso bars have opened. You have gotten past the first set of jitters. The band probably feeling their way, the artists feeling themselves with the band, your MC, things like that. Clearing the way for a really nice bumper season. And of course, you, Eddie, as Calypsonian, presenting your songs to the audience, getting a feel of it, getting those reactions from the crowd, and setting up yourself to be back in the fray at the final. All songs good. Yeah.
Indeed.
Godfrey, I know you asked about the material that came out of the tent.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in my capacity as a producer, studio owner, all in all, I think I would have worked with some songs this year, some artists this year that have really, really, really good material.
Mm-hmm.
And I set up as my goal, all in all, coming out of Independence, Monarch, where I had 6 of the 10 songs in the finals was produced by me.
Excellent.
Arranged, produced by me. And I looking to get at least 8 artists that I work with into that semi-finals. Yeah. And I know once they get into the semi-finals, they could dominate the finals.
Well, that's
really, 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 really good.
That's excellent.
I enjoy working in the studio. I mean, it's a team of us. I mean, I must big up Mr. X Pancho, because normally when he writes, he come down to me. We sit in the studio and we do all the arrangements. I do all of that, and he puts his input. So we work as a team. Teacher Nikki, comes in the studio and put his 2 pieces there. Even Rootsman, I work with Rootsman over the years, and Rootsman, when he comes to the studio, he has a lot of ideas. He
of course,
what he wants, and we work. Yeah. So I have been enjoying that. I'm going to drop 2 songs for you tonight.
Well, I'll waiting.
Yeah. Once the program finish, I'll drop you 2 songs. I know the one that everybody waiting for. So it was released on YouTube today, and I'm going to send the audio to the radio stations tonight.
Definitely. Once it comes, we send the rotation one time. Yeah. I think Squeezy, are you hearing us? Are you there with us?
I'm here. I don't know if you're hearing me.
I'm hearing you, but you need to put your camera on. So we're not seeing you well, because I'm hearing you in the background. I'm hearing you. Your audio is excellent. So we need to put on your camera so we could see the muscle man.
Well, that's what I'm trying here. Just to get the truth. For what reason, I don't know.
I mean, I'm not sure why, but I am wondering. It's.
Chrissy, are you using your phone?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my phone I'm using.
Right. So if you're using your phone, you should see the icon there. And
I mean, probably need to switch cameras, but if you I'm not sure what's happening, but
we see if you have a young person next to you.
Yeah, well, them tech people are them. Yeah, them tech people are.
If you let a young person, call them in Squeezy. That's what you need to do.
Yeah, but in any event, I mean, we hear you know it, so we'll chat. Squeezy, I mean, you've been around forever. You know, I remember we in school around the same period, and let me tell you guys something. There is something about Squeezy I remember very, very well in the early days of sports and so. Squeezy was running a 400 meter. And Squeezy and, well, two of them were very, very close coming to the finish line. And at some point, Squeezy figure running through wouldn't cut it for him. So Squeezy dived through the finish line to win the race, you know. He dived. That was in Victoria Park, Eddie. Squeezy dived to the line. And that was, you know what we just call heave. Exactly. So that is one thing about Squeezy I always remember. So you know the fella, if he have a belly, he have guts.
Yeah, competitive.
Yeah, don't watch him and know you see that play, you know, Sunday, don't bother him at all. You don't say that. He have a belly. But Squeezy, let's go back. Let's go back to the years. From the last time I see you heave in the 400, and then the next thing you're on stage. How did you get from the track onto the stage? Let's talk about that.
Well, be honest with you, I've been doing Calypso and sport all together. Mm-hmm. Because when I started to do Calypso in 10th, at the age of 13, 14, I used to be running an Big Bay from Telescope Point to Pottery and back.
Right.
Yeah, sport was the thing. So, like, you know, I was once the fastest 17 and under 400 meter sprinter in Grenada. Mm. The time you saw me win it in Victoria Park, it was a Carifta trial.
Yes, I remember.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
And then I went to school in Germany and I win it for my school just as well. We used to train up there, so it's not something new. Mm-hmm. So sports and culture is my thing.
Right.
I know I'm dealing with tourism, so why not? That is good contribution for the island.
I agree. So let's talk about the inception and getting into Kaiso and how you progressed from there. Let's talk about the journey.
Well, be honest with you, because of the love for the art, we go through a lot of struggles. But at the end of the day, everything have its ups and everything have its downs. You can't check on the down part of it too much. At least I had the opportunity to, and still have the opportunity to go in different places and perform different countries. So that's wonderful. That come like an achievement that you really wanted when you were young. Like, you know, you're feeling like, I want to be like the mighty Sparrow or Shadow, and I want to like travel and do my thing. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So the journey is very good, and as I said, it doesn't matter ups or the downs. I still love the art, and I'm planning to take back this part this year just as well. I'm ready for you, teacher Ed.
That's lovely. But Squeezy, you've been you know, in recent times you've not been so involved, but there was a period, just like teacher Eddie, where whenever the 10 finalists was announced for the March Gras night, Squeezy's name was there. There was no doubt about it, you know, with the Ajamos and the Wizards and the Mantis, and so Squeezy's name was there, you know, from semi-final in Simone to the March Gras in Queen's Park, all of that. Then there was the days of the rivalry between the Squeezy and the Jamo and all of that. You know, I want us to talk about that. Those experiences, how was it? You know, how did you feel during those periods?
Well, put it like this. It was a good rivalry. It helped bring out a lot of people. As you know, Grenadians like their melee. So,
Indeed.
me and a Jamo having a rivalry and giving each other talk, that would excite the whole thing. And most people take it hard, and some people always know it's just Calypso.
And the fans, of course. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but the artists have to blame themselves too, because at the end of the day, sometimes you make the fans believe that this one is against you and this one is against you too. So we have to be straight up. Because I could remember once, at the same time he was talking, Jamo had this song, Look the Crowley.
Yes, take it.
And then I answer him back with when you're coming down, fucking was the name of the song, just fucking, no?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And that really creates a good excitement in the arena for people to come and look at the show. And on the night of the show, when I trying to do my presentation, somebody stole my ladder, the one I had to go, where we have to go up on top of the roof.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it was stolen. We can't find it when man ready to go up. But for some reason, we got through. But it was so annoying backstage that you couldn't believe that somebody would try them kind of sabotage.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes you don't tell people things that happen because we never had an interview where people asked you those type of questions like you were doing now.
Mm-hmm.
So one day I met a Jamo in New York, and I tell him, well, let's go and hold a show together and invite some of our friends and have a little rivalry thing, a little rivalry showdown, so that people can see it's just a genuine thing. Then he agreed, and then after he come back and disagree.
Okay.
Disagree.
Yeah, so all those things was kind of pull the culture apart. It was a kind of move to show the people that we're not into no enmity thing. It's
right.
just art. So if we leave it to hang, then it's just gonna get worse. So there's so many different things that cause the Grenadian Calypso to fall over the years in a lot of ways. It's not only that. It has to do with so many things that's unbelievable. So can't point the finger at one person.
Mm-hmm. Val, anything you want to ask Squeezy? I mean, I have a lot of questions for Squeezy because, I mean, he's been around.
Well, I would like to, since there was that rivalry between Jamo and Squeezy and so on over the years, and he entered the final, I would like to ask Squeezy, first of all, what is his process in terms of writing? What stirs him to write, and how is his process?
Well, that's a good question. Once you're a writer, it many things is going to motivate you. Sometimes you go down the road, you have a chat with a few partners, and based on the chat, it sounds a little bit so humorous and so you see, I can write a song and put some humor into that. It's just like what happened just a few weeks ago. Me and my friend, we were having a conversation, and based on the conversation, I came up with the topic. Well, boy, I don't think we're living in the modern days, I think we're living in the modern days.
Right, yeah.
And that's just how the topic, the modern days, come up. So I say to myself, it's no modern days. The world is so crazy that we're going to call it the modern days. Mm-hmm. And I get to love the topic, and I write the song.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So most of the time is through conversation, or sometimes it just be a natural inspiration,
Right. Squeezy,
do you play an instrument? One second. Do you play an instrument, Squeezy?
Of course, the first instrument is drum. That's how I learned to play. I can beat my drum, and I can play guitar, but I'm not a fluent guitar player, but I can play my songs, of course.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Excellent, excellent.
Right.
And that is always very, very important. Squeezy, before
According to Darius, I can also play the ras.
I know, yes, that one. Actually, and well, you saying that takes us into the other part of the conversation. In the days of the Kaiso Castle, I mean, in them times you had the Kaiso Castle, you had I think later on, shortly after came the African Temple, and then we had the Black Roots tent in St. Patrick, and so on. I mean, those three I remember very, very well. Let's talk a little bit about the days in the Kaiso Castle, because there are those who believe that with the coming of Moss International and the Kaiso Castle, it brought that was another transition in the Kaiso or in the music. What's your thought?
Well, of course, because Calypso Castle, I would say, is responsible for helping to create a type of professionalism among the Calypsonians, you know, and then that make a lot of other Calypsonians follow. When I say so, I mean that if you go to Calypso Castle and you go to sing a song, and they find the song is not strong enough, the man will tell you straight up, go back and fix it. If they can help you, they help you. So that was one of the strongest point in Calypso Castle, that that we always had strong songs, you know. Mm-hmm. And then we didn't have much Calypsonians like 12 and 13 and 14 Calypsonian. The most you might get is 8 or sometimes 10. Then you get 20 good calypsos, and plus the band itself is going to do their own thing, and that used to make the show really, really nice, because it's better to have a short and sweet show than a long and boring one. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And then the other thing about Calypso Castle is that as a Calypsonian, you have to dress professional. You can't come with jeans and t-shirt and sing on the night. Mm-hmm. Well, you know that, Godfrey. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, yes. And today's world man just jump in on stage with anything. Sometimes people come in to see how the Calypsonian dress, you know. Not alone, sometimes they come for not that alone, but they like to see how the Calypsonian would dress and present himself. And then the other thing about Calypso Castle was that all the Calypsonians used to support each other. It doesn't matter who make the Mardi Gras or who don't make it, but everybody support each other, and we used to live like one family. Or should I put it again?
Eddie, you could ask Squeezy question. You know, ask him some of all these guys and pelt question behind Squeezy.
No, I mean, I know you talk about why we remember about Squeezy crossing the line, the finish line. But I always remember Squeezy go up on top of the roof and sing, and he could hear the band, so you have key, and you know the kid man do him.
yes, that was.
No, it wasn't that. I was not on top of the roof, you know. It was Skylark, what was on the roof.
Yeah.
So the whole.
I didn't even know that.
You had updated.
Yeah.
Godfrey knew that?
No, this is the first time I'm hearing that. I always felt Squeezy was it. That was Soca Disciple, right? Squeezy?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Squeezy, that was okay?
No. Why am I doing on top of the roof? I sing at the end stage, but.
No, listen. There we go. I never in all the years, and that was 1992.
Yeah.
1992, and what? How much years after? I'm just we're just learning that it wasn't Squeezy that was there.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Yes, and then the thing is, that was the same time, I tell you, when they stole the ladder and everything.
Right.
Right. No, that does break your moral. That will be vicious, because the backstage you're searching for your ladder and you have to go on stage and you're getting vexed because you know what I mean, I'm just a man. Maybe on my ladder, I want to find it. And all those things would distract you from your performance. You see? But what Teacher Eddie is talking about is that when the band started, I didn't start off key. It happened in the second verse, and I know exactly what happened is that somebody, one of the keyboardists, just bring up the keyboard loud, and it just play another kind of thing, and then show people off, and but if people don't know about music and don't know how the artist himself feel on stage, they will just sit there thinking, well, what's really going on? But most of the time, a lot of the time, it's not just the artist's fault. Well,
that's honest. And in fact, that year, I mean, the thing was so strong that, I mean, I think most people were leaning to Squeezy for the crown that year, Eddie.
Yeah.
Coming down for King and Jamu take it. It was. I mean, that year it was something.
Soca Disciples was a very strong song. It's a song had direct noise. And I had Soca Disciples. That's what happened there. That's what happened when all this thing happened. And I had Let Me Rub You Down that year.
Yeah.
Right,
Remember that song?
Yes, indeed. Then you had, which was a very big year for you. I think that was another year people felt you may have pulled it off with, of course, the big thing that year. The big thing that year, the Iraqi. Iraq moving into Kuwait and then the US invading, pull him out. That was a big one. For you, when you
that was the same year I had Stick the Cake and Life is Living on a Battlefield. So when I won the Young King, they didn't want to give me the National Calypso Monarch because I probably would have just won 3 crowns because they didn't have a Soca Monarch. They only had a road match, and I came second in the road match. You know who beat me that year? Mass International. They came out late with Run Fast Your Mother Coming.
But was it you? But wait. Was it you or Tangler who came second? Because that's the same year Tangler had Kalalu, you know.
No. That's not the same year Tangler had Kalalu.
Because it was Moss that defeated Tangler. And I'm certain of that because there's a story behind that, Eddie, and Robert White. Robert White always gives that story because he was part of Black Roots tent. And Tangler was actually, I mean, that was the song that was playing, and it was Robert White who brought down that record from Barbados with Moss International. And Moss just came and win the road match.
And that same year?
Well, if that's a year that you said you had.
That's the year I had Stick the Cake and Life is Living on a Battlefield and Saddam Don't Want to Pull Out. I think Tangler's song was probably the year after. Because I could remember when Moss came out late with Run Fast Your Mother Coming.
Well, it was Robert White who brought in the record from Barbados. In fact, we always laugh because he was part of the Black Roots, basically at that management level. So people felt that he, we always give him talk that he sabotaged he own road match. But of course,
I don't think anybody could have beat Moss that year because that's the first time they come with a jab in that kind of way. And then that was basically it. Grenadians love the little jab and they finally get something they could go with. So it was a bit harder to beat them.
Right. Quizzy, someone just text me and tell me that your ladder was up in Dabu. Your ladder ended up in Dabu. Just said, in the first round, he sang the Soca Disciple, and won the first round. And I'm reading the text here. His second tune, Coming for King, the ladder end up in Dabo, 1992. And I think you.
That was not exactly what I was.
So maybe the ladder's still alive. You never know.
Boy, you think it easy?
Yeah. But Eddie, let me come back to you. You know, in those days when you know, people like Squeezy and others were, you know, dominating the Kaiso, were you already singing or in competition that year already?
Yeah, Godfrey, this is 40 years in Kaiso for me. I started in 85.
Right.
My first semis was 87, so 87, 88, I think 89 semis. 92 I came back that same year. I did Samantha.
Right.
Semis again. It was until 95 I made the first finals. 95, in 95 I did Time for Action, something about the character. I met Team Harry showing a dream or what.
Right.
And I had a second song called True PD.
Right.
But yeah, he was coming. I think we were coming close to election, or we were in an election here. So I remember I meeting Poswida and I said, boy, I see the vehicle start with PD. So we had a laugh about that. So the same time, because the election was in the air, I said to myself, well, you know, the fellas could make a party and the acronym's going to be PD. But to be a member of the party, you have to pledge to be a true PD.
That's a very nice topic, and the PD, what PD means, police department.
No, that was People's Democracy. That was anybody party. You know, let's call it the movement, so that one was People's Democracy was anybody party. So we call it PD. And fellas had to join the party, they had to pledge to be a true
PD.
I think that song's still there, and Gentlemen had that on YouTube. The last time I laughed at it, I had a good laugh.
Yeah, I don't think I need to find that one, Eddie. I don't have that one.
That was 95.
95. Actually, yeah, that's a year I'm actually missing some songs from 95. In fact, myself and Scholar was searching for some songs from 95. That was the year. Was that the year Jamo came back with On the Road? Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Yes.
Because that time in that tent, I remember our tent had a lot of finalists. It was me, Moyaki, Smallies, Jamo.
That was All Stars, right?
6 of us. Yeah, All Stars. We had about 6 finalists, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Squeezy, can you remember the amount of time, your numbers? Semis, finals?
That I go have to sit down and check personally.
All right.
Yeah, but I imagine it's over 15, 20 times.
Yeah. Very, very interesting.
But I only happened to win 3 national crowns, which is the road match and the Young King and twice-time national Taka Calypso Monarch and Fantasia. That's still national.
Right.
So you still, at least the achievement day, and I still won twice-time St. Andrews Calypso Monarch. So, you know, you still make little achievement in the competition that you can say, all right, you know, you still got motivated somehow. Come second in the Calypso competition, sometime come third, sometime come fourth. But I never know myself coming last.
You're probably
Squeezy still the Young Kings, you know, because once they had that show.
Yeah, so Squeezy the reigning Young King.
Young King.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, only once they had the show. Only once.
Right.
So
yeah, go ahead, Squeezy.
Go ahead.
So Val, Squeezy mentioned here about winning the St. Andrews Calypso King, and this is very, very interesting. And so over the years, you know, you get to realize that there are some things within the Kaiso that we've lost. Because I could recall, and I'm Squeezy, I'm sure both yourself and Eddie can remember when the Kaiso tents had their king competition.
Yes.
So there was a competition in the tent, and of course because I recall Moss doing that quite a lot. But we've lost some of these things. There used to be the St. Andrew King squeeze that used to take part. That used to be during the Rainbow City Festival. Yes.
Yeah.
Right, I recall that. So a lot of these things has fallen by the wayside. Between Eddie and Squeezy, what went wrong? Why have we lost those things? Because I mean that was good motivation for the Kaisonians, especially Kaisonians who didn't go on to make it to the final or semi-final. They had a chance to participate in the tent, in the parish competition. What happened?
Well, Kaiso Bars had one about 2 or 3 years ago. I think Young Song won that, and I came second when Kaiso Bars had the crowning of the 10th monarch. I think that was I think may have been the first one after COVID, the first year after COVID. That carnival we did a 10th show, Kings. But it used to be a nice feature. It used to be something that artists look forward to, as you say. Those who didn't go on, they got a chance to showcase, and I think that's what we did in Kaiso Bads. But Bads Fireworks, as we know, we run 2 tents in one because of the numbers. So we had the crowning at the 10th monarch. Yeah, and that's something we look forward to. Yeah.
I am also the reigning St. Andrew's Calypso monarch because the last one they held, that was it. They didn't hold another one. But my take on that one is not the Calypsonian fault, and I don't know if it's the promoter's fault, but I would basically say the problem is sponsorship. When you're holding a show like that, you have to pay out the artist the prize money. That in itself is going to cost a lot. Not for the time you have the Calypso St. Andrew's Calypso competition, right? You can't have DJ playing on the streets all about the place and people just making bacchanal. You have to have a special time for that. So then you go have a crowd that comes to the show. But if you don't get over 2,000 people, obviously you would have to look for sponsorships before. And I always say Grenville businessmen don't really sponsor anything like that. But they also have to remember that when Rainbow City comes, they open up the shop and they make the money around Carnival and whatever. So no matter how you beg these businessmen and them to put up a little money so that something can happen, nothing happening. So you can't depend on government subsidies alone, so that's the problem right there. But what is your take on that, Eddie?
Yeah, I think sponsorship we need that because when we did the Kaiso Bads show a few years ago, we had a sponsor. I think Cupboard sponsored that. And the artists got they got a first prize, second prize, third prize. Everybody else got like a 400 appearance fee. And it was a nice thing. So we did that injection from the business community. Yeah.
Yeah. Val, let me ask you, yeah. Oh, you were coming, yeah. So go ahead.
Yeah, because I'm hearing that like the Grenville Crown and so on, which are regional competitions, which are critical for development, and they are like incubators that help to nurture the younger Calypsonians coming through. So both the Young King and those regional competitions do play a very great part in helping especially younger Calypsonians to find their feet, to be a part of the mix, and so that they can progress and end up in the semi-final and final. If you do away with those regional titles, I think that you are not necessarily serving the purpose of development. So I wonder what role Spice Mass could play, since the whole carnival is really placed on them to help it to grow. What role Spice Mask could play in terms of helping the regional calypso competitions to grow and returning to the young kings. Yeah. What do you think?
No, very, very interesting. If because I remember, and Eddie said Baz, I remember it was in 2010. It was Mr. Hugh Dolan. He had ran the Spice Basket. No, the Spice Basket Kaiso 10. That came out, that was in 2010. And that year, I worked with them as well, and we had a 10th monarch. But it only happened once, and again, and let me highlight this, it was Hubbard's who also sponsored. So they were responsible for the prize monies that was paid to the participating artists. So these are initiatives I think definitely Spice Mask can give support to. I don't know in what form, but they should definitely sort of take the lead and do what has to be done to encourage that,
right.
Because
and if I use, let's say, the Trinidad model, you still have the South Calypso king,
right?
You have North Zone. Kitchener back in the day was the Arima Kid. He would have won the crown in Arima. Scrunter and Pink Panther would have won the crown in Grandi, and Scrunter would have brought Pink Panther to Port of Spain and to sing similar back in the day with, I see Christopher Squeezy has a name, Callis, so that Black Stallion, Leroy Callis, would have been a South King,
right?
Right, a South King before he came into Port of Spain, so that those regional titles and so on still exist. And a lot of the budding Calypsonians would go to those regional Calypso competitions and stake their claim, make their mark, before they end up even in a Calypso tent in Port of Spain or even in San Fernando and so on. So I think it's critical that maybe Spice Mask could look at that and borrow a bit and help to nurture, Calypsonians, younger Calypsonians coming through. Yeah, it definitely would help.
Oh, of course, and especially, people. I think when you have competitions like that, people enjoy it. People enjoy it. So we within those competitions, people within those communities, they would come out. And support. So I think it's a good thing. I don't know if probably the removal of these competitions played a role in the numbers at the March Gras dwindling, because so much so that people would come out and support their own. You for example, you have Squeezy as the St. Andrew King. That puts him in a certain caliber to challenge for the national monarch, and so people would come out and support things like that. So I think it's excellent, and maybe definitely Spice Mask should look at it. I know our good friend Cess Noel, he always listens to the program. So Cess, if you're listening, it's something that you can give thought to and maybe have some discussions with the powers that be, or with the stakeholders, the 10
what
leaders.
What I think should be happening, Godfrey, my opinion is that if they have a junior competition in every parish, that would motivate people to come out to the March Gras, because as far as the kids, they're growing up with that. But if you're just growing up with jump and wine and rum and drink, and job, then we will lose all our quality of composing, because I'm not running down the jab, but at the end of the day, once you're singing a song with a high tempo like this, it's very hard to get across certain lyrics based on how you might want to put it across. Number one, so you must have a good calypso competition in every parish. So then now you pick out the best two from every parish to compete with each other, and then you have a national junior monarch. You get me? So then in the national junior monarch, right, the one that win would have a chance to perform in the match, not like compete.
Okay, but exposure kind of thing. Get some exposure.
That is a good exposure for the junior king to perform in the match. And I'm not knocking nothing, but instead of that, they will just bring a heaping set of women and say, this one go be queen, this one go be queen every time they have in the match semi-finals. And that kills the Calypso show a lot, because all this time they taking up with all this queen show in between the Calypso. It just does not motivate the Calypsonian to sing. Sometimes they backstage so long pending, man. And all these hours you're waiting to sing for all these hours. That's not nice at all. But if you bring all the kings, all the junior kings from every parish, then it's going to be just 6 guys that come in and sing. You take the one from Carriacou, right? And they come and sing in the match together with the big guys, right? As an appearance. That would motivate that whole culture differently, and then you could still have the queen show for themselves, like they do. Sometimes we have to be frank and say it as it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember, like, all parishes had their own Calypso monarch, and I think even Eddie, and he mentioned Queen Show, but I think that was how the Queen Show was done years gone by. You would have the parish queen, and then and the winners would come down to represent the parish, and that's how you select the exactly. National queen. Yeah. Things have changed. Things have changed, and so. I guess.
But it hasn't changed for the better. That's the thing about it. Not because somebody come out somewhere and say, okay, let we have things like that, and we're going to leave it like that. There's always room for improvement. A lot of things can be changed in a lot of other ways.
But Squeezy, do you think we would get back to a stage where we can see some increased numbers at the March Gras night, like at the Calypso Monarch competition?
Well, that's one of the only way we're going to see it. Like if we go back to the traditional way as we see and do the junior king shows. In the different parish, that means you're motivating the kids. They're growing up that way. When you grow in a Muslim country, you grow up being a Muslim. As far as you're concerned, you don't know nothing else more than being a Muslim. So it's like when you grow up singing Calypso, as far as you're concerned, you don't know nothing else more than Calypso. You just want to listen to all kind of different people sing Calypso so that you can develop your own writing. And that's once that happens, it's going to motivate young people to do Calypso and go in the March Gras, because as far as they're concerned, they come in and sing in the March Gras with the big guys, and the parents is going to support them, the friends is going to support them, so they're going to eventually bring out a young crowd.
Eddie, you work a lot. Eddie, you work a lot with the young ones. You're very instrumental in getting this the junior Calypso. And so, do you see potential there in light of what Squeezy is saying?
Well, the thing about it is that I've been clamoring for years for them to go through the school system. Get its students motivated from in the school system so that we could have a strong junior Kaiso competition. And the junior Kaiso competition, that cut off at 16. So after that, the young kings would have been an ideal showcase for these young people. But when they come up at 16, very few of them at that stage are able to make it into the senior competition. So what you find is that a lot of them kind of get demoralized and the interest is not there after that.
Right.
I mean, we had the most recent would have been Kenyan, the young legend, as a junior getting into semi-finals. Right. But we also had the Rico, and we had Inspector and Randy and them. That was the glory days.
Right.
But a lot of the thing now is that after that junior competition cut off, you don't find much of them wanting to continue behind that. So my lobby to the powers is to let's target the schools. As I tell them, watch it. If you get one competitor from each school in Grenada, you have to have preliminaries for juniors.
Yeah, because I mean we have a lot of schools.
Yeah, so you don't need. And this is something that you can't start that in May. You have to start that in September. So you plan that is how we go in next year, and we're gonna do some motivational pieces during the year to get people motivated and want to sing. But I talking and nobody listening to me, so I guess I have to stop talking.
Right.
No, don't stop talking, Eddie. You gotta continue to talk. You can't stop talking. You gotta find ways to make it happen too. You know, if you have an idea, you gotta try now to make the idea work. Right? There are people who probably not seeing the vision, but I guess your years as a teacher and years as a calypsonian and studio owner and arranger is very critical to understanding that development, so that the starting people at an early age is important. You know, I guess it gives them more than just singing calypso. It's a particular kind of awareness of the environment, the community, the country, and singing about themes and so on. So it helps. And just try and maybe talk to the right set of people who can make that happen, you know. But Eddie, I know we will quickly run out of time, so that you straddle, you know, certain areas. One, you're a calypsonian and a practicing calypsonian. You're an arranger and a studio owner. So your process, how do you, Eddie, in terms of one, your personal writing, and how do you deal with also wearing the arranger cap as a practicing calypsonian yourself? You know,
right?
So
for me, it's the years being in the studio and sitting down with the studio arrangers back then and working with them. That in itself motivates me. Yeah. When I left school, I learned to play the guitar.
Right.
Now I transposed from guitar to piano, and then right now I can play just about any instrument I want to play. I might not be able to play with a band or so, but I could put any song, I could build any song and play instrument, play all the parts, down to the harmonies, you know, and get it going. So this in itself came out of working with the juniors, because when we had to do music for them, they come with something, they come with a song. Sometimes it's not even a good structured song.
Right.
We had to put it together. We had to do the music. We had to score, because we have policemen play with us in the band. So we had to get them in schools, right? So all of that was demanding on me, you know. So I used to do that, and I continue to do that, you know. And that led me, when I came into retirement as a teacher, I said, you know what, I'm gonna do a studio. Because people thought when I release school after 40 years teaching, he'll be bored. But see, I have music in me.
Right.
So music is me. I mean, my mantra now is music is life. You know. So that is where the music. In terms of the writing, no, I work. I share my writing with people. So I get an idea. I may come up with a voice chorus. I may run it by Wizard. I may run it by X. I have a partner down St. David's. I may run it by call teacher Nikki. Yeah, and what do you think? And we build a song. So a lot of the music, the compositions, is a group of us.
Collective effort kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. You know? And so that for me, sometimes I say to myself, Godfrey, I don't know, I ain't singing again. And I say, the bug and bite you yet? I say, what bug? I don't know, I ain't singing this at all. First I want to sing, I write nothing.
Yeah.
Then I'm walking down the step, and an idea hit me. I love my double entendre.
Right.
So I say, boy, you know that's a good Kaiso. So the things start to come back.
And there we go, yeah.
And there we go again. So the writing is collaborative. I share my work. When I have an idea or a voice chorus, whatever, a song, I share it around, listen to the guys who've been there, done that, and come up with ideas to strengthen it. You know, and that's how I go in. I mean, I wish some artists could have do that, because some artists hold a song and they like they want to share it with nobody. I mean, sometimes you have to be careful, because if you don't know who you're doing it to, fellas could try to steep your idea. But you should have people that are trusted in, and you could work with them,
right?
Team, to see if you grow. You know, and that's how I approach it now.
Yeah,
I wanted to ask.
That's very good.
Yeah, just before we kind of lose the thought, we spoke a little bit about the schools, you know, and getting there early, Eddie, and you know. But let me ask, and we spoke about the powers that be. But can the Calypsonians do more, let's say, by themselves, to maybe, you know, find a way outside of the Power, Spice Mass, whoever it is, Calypsonians, actually offering their services and expertise, you know, to the schools, maybe as a extracurricular activity, and help the students? What are the possibilities?
That could be something that could be looked into, you know, in terms of, you know, going out, targeting artists or Calypsonian or whatever in a particular area to help with the school. Because I remember, I think it's Tivoli, the principal had asked me when she heard I was going to retirement, you know, she really wanted to do something with the school, you know, but we didn't really get around to do it. And I tell her, well, I will happily do it, you know. So that, because I think that you must motivate the children. You must motivate them to get into like Kaiso. Otherwise, if you feed them on soca alone, the soca they will like. But sometimes when you sing your calypso for them, and you show them about Kaiso, you sing, they like it.
Yeah.
So but when we feed them with only soca, they don't hear in Kaiso. I know young people who just go on YouTube and just shuffle and listen to Kaiso. You know, so sometimes we say Kaiso dying and people them thinking. Not really, you know, but is the motivation. And I think we could target the young mind. We could go to the school, but I think the ministry could take the lead. I mean, I share that with the director of culture already. The ministry should take the lead there, because you have the resources. You could get people like myself, like Woodsman Kelly, like Neil, maybe a Squeezy. You could get people to come in.
There are a lot, yeah, man. I think so. There are a lot of Calypsonians.
I would be short of that. But somebody, I mean, I know Val saying, you know, maybe I should take the lead and think, but no, I need them. I volunteer to be a support person, but they have to organize it. You know. So
yeah, you know, you're right. I'm thinking here that you know, you mentioned the Ministry of Culture. Can't they maybe together with the Ministry of Education do a sort of collaboration and work together in getting something like this off the ground?
Yeah, but that I recommended that since
at that level.
Well, now, a long time now, but last year when the new cultural officer came in, I said that to him, look, this is where if you want that Kaiso thing to take up in the schools, go to the schools. And I know, well, I mean, the last school, what I met, and I maybe I said that on the program earlier on. I met Young Mad through a program we are doing through the ministry. I did a workshop in St. John, and I met this guy was in the workshop, it was a Kaiso workshop, and he told me a song, so I said, I want to hear your song. And then he pulled on that thing on YouTube for me, and I listened to every song. I said, okay, when we resume the workshop, they will sing one of them for me. And when he done, I say, you would like to sing Kaiso? He told me, yeah, I can get Kaiso. So I had a Kaiso there, and I gave him the go. He performed in the juniors, he came second.
Excellent, excellent.
And I'm sure if he's motivated now, he'll do Kaiso. In Kaiso right now we have, and this year I noticed that Shamak.
Yes, Shamak. Yeah,
is doing Calypso, and I am happy about that. You know, so you just about a guiding them youths into the thing. You know.
Eddie, what I was referring to is that most of the times when we have an idea, and a very good idea, we might speak to, let's say, an official, whether it is Spice Mars or the Ministry of Education, and then we try with them, we talk to them, and it dies. I think that what probably needs to happen a lot in all regions of the Caribbean is that we start to probably put it down. We start to develop a proposal about it, write it down so that it is before you and you could always shape it to whatever, probably administration and even to the business class. But put it down and have that proposal before you and get others to commit, Squeezy and others that you call there and put that in things. So it's written, right? It's official.
Right, let me give you guys a typical example, right? I couple years ago, I was going in some of the schools and teach tourism and things, just part-time for the ministry and so on. And one of the schools I went to, there was this guy, the young kid, the teacher says he's not doing his homework. And he's giving a lot of trouble in the class. So I tell the rest of the kids, okay, well, if Ricky is not doing his homework, we're going to have to write a song on Ricky. So I say, every one of you guys, when you come back, next time when I come back, make sure you have 2 sentences on Ricky, and then we're going to put the song together. Well, those kids didn't want a better sport. They were all excited. Don't you know, like, in a few days when I came back, everybody came with the 2 sentences. And we put the song together and we start to sing on Ricky now. So when the whole class singing about him, you know what happened? About a week after, when we start singing the song on him, he came to me and he said, no, sir, you can't sing on me again. I start bringing me homework now.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, the power of the word.
No, definitely. Yeah, I think the motivation is key. And I think, you see, because young people, they have a way, once they feel that they're part of something, the interest grows.
Yeah.
So I do believe that can definitely work. And if you can work with the schools and the schools can have the little competitions, because these things happen before. I remember winning a little calypso competition in Tivoli School. I won. In fact, I sang a kitchen at Kaiso. Love in the Cemetery. I remember that. I only knew one verse, but I sang my verse, and I win. And I got my prize was an exercise book and a pencil, and nobody was happier than me. Nobody was happier than me. So I do agree, and I would love to see that happen. As for example,
you don't know Basie was a Calypsonian to Godfrey?
Basie? I know he was always into music in SAS.
He win Junior Calypso Monarch in Granville there already.
Yeah.
Yes, talk about a Junior Monarch.
Yes, I was in the competition. Yeah, we had a Junior Calypso Monarch in Granville when the rest of Grenada did not have one. But we used to do it through the forage.
Right.
And I tell you, Granville Cinema used to load with people just for that junior competition. Because they call it Kiddies Carnival. They come in and see other kids dance and calypso competition, and that's where I started. Rooster was there. Rooster also won.
I know Rooster, yeah.
Yes, and Basie win just as well. And this is the things that motivated us, and probably that's why Basie is a musician today.
Eddie, I'm thinking here, listen to you all. I'm thinking, so for example, now that school is about to close, I think this week is probably final week. Why can't the schools, as part of the end of term, have a big competition? Get the students from the different classes, different grades, to perform in a competition. Because sometimes they go on bus tours, they do all different things. I mean, you can have I think the school can have a big fun day and have, as part of that, have a calypso competition, and
get the interest going.
Get the interest going. So I think there are a lot of little ideas that can be considered, at that level to get our young people, our students involved.
As I said there, put it down in proposal form so that you can even shop it around. But it's important to put it down, to write it. Don't just do it orally and talk to this one or talk to that one, but start to develop that proposal that you can, say, well, look, this is my idea. This is the ideas we're having, and I've already gotten Calypsonians committed to it, and we are willing to do X, Y, and Z, and so on. And that is it, because you see, Calypso has been oral for so long, and at the grassroots level, we remain too oral, and we need to move to a more formal platform. So while you have the idea and you're talking it, that's one thing. I think you need to document it. You need to put it down and in a formal sense and say, look, this is what we are talking about, and let them read it and it probably move forward. I think there are great possibilities for that, right? Because don't assume that because people are manning ministries and so on that they know. Most of the time they don't know. They're just there.
Yeah. You're right. You're right. You're definitely right.
Most of the time, don't you know that I just always tell people this thing and they think I'm crazy. And one day, me and Wizard had a conversation, and Wizard said the same thing. Wizard say I usually tell people that, and they must be thinking I'm crazy just as well. And what we say to them is that Harry Belafonte is a much more popular Calypsonian in the world than the Mighty Sparrow. And they couldn't believe it. And that is a fact. It's not because we know the Mighty Sparrow comes from Grenada and he's the Calypso king of the world, which is true if you want to call him so, no problem. But that doesn't mean to say he's much more popular than Harry Belafonte. And Harry Belafonte hasn't seen many Calypso. But everybody in Europe knows he's Calypso. And it's Calypso they call it. So that doesn't mean to say Calypso can't climb the international stage and do as well as any other body. Because this guy did so well that the whole of Europe still sings his song. So we have to understand what is the real reality is, and just watch how the men did the thing. They probably was more on the front line doing the promotion, and as you see, making the right to the people.
Yeah, it's not that squeezy. One of the things that Harry Belafonte never claimed in no way to be a Calypsonian. He said that to Melody. He never claimed to be a Calypsonian in the sense that he said, I never won a title. I'm no Calypso king he's not the Calypso king of Jamaica or the Calypso king of the West Indies. There's no title to his name, right? He did an album called Calypso, and of course, as West Indian, I think he is promoted. But the point about it is that he proved that you do not need those regional titles
to make it big.
Make a name for yourself singing Calypso. And I think that is what we need to take away, so that we have locked, especially the Eastern Caribbean and so on, and the Windward, we have locked ourselves into these competitions, these regional competitions. And and in a real sense, it keeps you there, right? When there are ways where we can kind of break out of that mold and see what is outside, right, in terms of the creation of music, because Calypso is just another music. It's just another music form. It's not a music form to only sing about the local politics. It's just a music form.
Exactly.
So, guys, we getting close to wrap up time. I mean, it goes by so fast. So, Eddie Squeezy, as we started, we very much into the season now. Eddie, based on what you've heard so far, in terms of material. I mean, they're still coming out. And let me broaden it here. Calypso, soca, groovy. What's your take on what you're hearing so far in terms of quality, standard?
I'm hearing some real good calypsos, but I'm also hearing some that left to be desired. I was wondering sometimes if the guys will share what they have before they go to the studio. Because for me, if a man want me to critique his song, you can go in the studio, record the song, and then send it for me and ask me what I think.
No, I mean,
I wouldn't think. You understand? I wouldn't think. All I could think about it is the final product. But in terms of telling you, well, okay, I thought this could have been good away, or that could have been away, I can't do that. At that point in time, it's too late. All right? But I heard a few good ones. I heard some, as I say, that still left to be desired. And the soca, I hear a few nice soca. And the groove, well, the groove is the thing. I mean, there's a few nice groove outside there. Again, you're starting off with what? 120, 110 soca artists. And the reality is you might get about 20 good ones there.
Yes, it is.
I think the groovy to me, and I judge it from last year and previous years, the groovy seems to be the thing now more than the power.
Yeah, definitely.
Some sweet, nice groovy music. You could see like the grooves. They put the guys who do groove, but say they put something more into the groove than the guys who just want to jump and wave with the power. We need something new. The music, we get in there with music. What I learned from a lot of the young guys is that they sometimes they outsource, so they may record, but they may send it out to mix and master, which is a good thing because you want that international flavor. Not saying I can't get it here because I love the group from Carriacou, Export.
Yes.
Those guys are really, really doing a good job. And I think the build-up is there. We had Eclipse the other night. I don't go in them shows again, but I heard it was really good. And you have more fete coming up. I always just wonder when will we see that kind of fete? Because when I look at Trinidad, Wassa fete, Flower fete, Police Army fete, that create a nice bill. So now that we have those artists and them doing their own fete and shows, I think that's a good thing for the build up to the season. And I realize that people like Crave and Was and so on, we still have the show only. They bring it closer to Carnival. That the audience are coming in. So that's a good thing. I look forward to a good season. Yeah.
Right. Squeezy, your thoughts on what you're picking up so far?
Be honest with you, what I've heard so far, I would say that a lot of the calypsos are too much sometimes than local events. You could sing on local politics, of course, but a lot of them, I'm hearing that like they're still throwing word for the judges, some of them throwing word for each other, as usual. But I don't think it's that exciting like before. I'll be honest. I think I need to hear some more melody in a lot of these calypsos. I think I'm hearing too much of melody that is repeating itself. That's my take on that.
Right. We have a caller on the line. Let's see who's with us. Kaiso Talk. Good evening.
Yeah. I have a new song. Can we Paul? That brand new song come on, Shami. Those time today, just Shami.
Okay.
I just want to go voice on that again. And guys,
okay, thank you. All right. Yeah. Well, Val, things aside to pick up. As Eddie said, I do agree. There's some, quite a few very, very interesting calypsos. And I'm sure as this season progresses, more and more would come out as we get closer to preliminaries and judging. There'd be quite a bit more. I just Squeezy just dropped one. I just listened a bit of it earlier. Of course, Eddie kicking up a storm, Serpent, Kelly. I heard a wonderful one from Shireen, who was out for a while, Eddie, and she's back in the competition again. Is my name. So there are quite a few very interesting one, and so I'm looking forward to a good season of Kaiso.
Yeah, well, I know the season now start. Eddie, you just opened, and the Kaiso bad. So I would want you to do a bit of probably advertising. Tell us when is the next show. And also give a sense of the cast. Let's hear how much the Calypsonians who make up the cast, and maybe the band leader. Those
right.
things.
So Kaiso, the Kaiso bands. We operate 2 tents in one. Kaiso bands, Kaiso fireworks, and they operate under the GPAC banner. All right. The reason why 2 in 1 is because we use one band, so we practice together and we judge separately. We open as together and then we do one. So normally we have about over 20-25 artists in that tent. Squeezy, I'm in the tent too. So it's a lot of us in the tent. We looking forward to do a show the next weekend. That's the 11-12, somewhere around there. We're going to Spice Basket, so people could look forward to Spice Basket. What I know in Spice Basket, you would have the full cast,
right?
Because the overseas, well, I should call them overseas. People like Messenger will be in. You have Muscles, who is in New York. Randy will be back. Lucky. So there's 4 I know of who are based outside. They'll be back for the show. And I tell you that everybody will be doing their 2 songs. So people should look for the dates as soon as we show the ad. I think it's next weekend. Either this Saturday or this Sunday, not sure. And we're gonna get a real good show. So come out, support Kaiso. Find your way to the Spice Basket. And
till next weekend we show Eddie?
Yeah, because this weekend has the so-called quarterfinals. Not quarter, but prelims. So we are really having a show this weekend.
I know the classic Kaiso tent they launched was last Saturday.
Saturday?
Yeah, last Saturday. So I don't know when the other tents. I know Jerry's tent should be opening soon, and then there's the tent on the west. I'm not sure when they're opening it. I haven't gotten any information on that. So, but things are picking up. Things are picking
what
up.
What I do know, Godfrey, is that they are practicing. But
right.
West, Kingdom, and well, of course, we classic and bad fireworks have already opened. But the other times they're practicing, they had rehearsal. I think one of them had rehearsal today too.
Right, yeah. right.
So, Eddie, I'm pushing you. Who in Trinidad we have bards who lead particular tents, So the big name.
Right.
Do you have a lead Calypsonian or lead Calypsonians? Yeah.
Yeah, in Kaiso band, Scholar heads the tent. Right? So you have Scholar, you have Big J. You have Squeezy, of course. You have people like IMG. It's just a big cast. Muscles, as I say, Messenger.
Pecos is part of the player. Lakey, quite a few guys, yes.
Yeah. Shanda.
Yes.
Then you have Tiny. I mean, it's a lot. I can't remember everybody of me.
Right. Nice.
A big cast. Big cast. So when we judging, normally we split the cast. Because I say we end up with about 26, 27. So we judge 14 and 13.
And okay, lovely.
2 nights, 2 separate nights.
Right. Yeah.
Nice.
Well, we're looking forward to the opening of the other tents, and of course, I just want to encourage Calypsonians, send the music. If you have your recorded music, send it to us. I'll be more than happy to play them. I play all that I have as much as possible. So send the Kaisos, and let's get the thing going. It's not just soca, but Kaiso plays a very, very critical role in the whole build-up of Carnival. So it's important that we get the music to play. So guys, we're out of time. Squeezy, let me just give you a minute for your closing.
I just want to ask Godfrey one question before we go. I know we have just a few minutes. This is Eddie. Eddie, how many calypsos have you arranged for the season?
Okay, so I would have worked with about 9 artists. So you're talking close to 20 songs.
20
excellent,
songs.
yeah. Excellent.
When you started? The process?
I started all, started as, I think I have started March, April, March. Very much around that time they started work, with song. Right now, we have just about 2 or 3 to finish mix down and release. Yeah. That would be for the season.
Nice, great.
Excellent. Squeezy, your I know you're competing this year, your other song, when are we going to get it?
Well, boy, I'm waiting on Denzel. Denzel's supposed to be finished already.
Okay.
I think I can get it probably tomorrow. I hope so.
Fantastic.
But I'm finished. We already put down all the music, all the vocals and everything, just for he to mix and master. But Denzel seems to be very busy sometimes, especially around this time with so many different artists, So I hope this week, of course, you're gonna get my other song.
Okay, well, we looking forward to that. So your a minute, Squeezy, your final words. Anything you want to leave with our listeners and viewers?
Well, what I would like to say is that we're in 2025, and we're going to try and make Carnival as nice as possible, peaceful as possible, so that when the foreigners come, they could always want to come back for Grenada Carnival. That's most important.
Okay, lovely. Eddie, any final words?
Well, I just want to wish everybody a safe Carnival. Come out and support the Calypso 10, support the shows, wherever the artists put on the shows. Go out and support them. All that makes Carnival what it is. So, enjoy yourself, have fun, clean fun.
Yeah. Val, your final words?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, thanks for the guys coming in this evening. Had a wonderful discussion. I think we hit on some novel discussions in terms of where you can push the calypso to make it happen. The junior categories, the regional categories, the young kings, bringing it back into focus, and of course, Eddie, I lead the responsibility of putting the proposal together so that you can take it to the ministries and others, and you have Squeezy, who seemed to be a tourism man inside of there. So liaise with them and put it down so that we can have particular discussions, and we still have to fix that split. That 24-year split is still out there. All right? So we have work to do. Yes. Yes.
All right.
Yes, indeed. All right. So, guys, thank you once again, Squeezy, both Squeezy and Eddie, accepting the invitation on short notice, I might add. Very short notice. Only today I reached out, and they happily accepted to be here with us this evening. And it shows the commitment that our Calypsonians have. And so, folks, I just want to appeal to you. If we continue to support our Calypsonians, I have absolutely no doubt that Kaiso would get right back and even higher than where it used to be. So thank you guys very much, Eddie. Squeezy, we're looking forward to getting the Kaisos, and we're looking forward to an excellent season. So thank you very much. Thank you to all our listeners, our viewers. Do have a good night, and of course we'll be back next Wednesday. Flying Turkey should be with us, so we're looking forward to chatting with him. So all the best, and do have a good night.
All right, thank you so much.
Yeah. Good evening, guys. Take care.
Right.
Bye.
Buenas noches.
Hey everyone, here is an invitation to join me